where he was originally he was married to the world, i.e. that the Iker Shechina, this sort of essential level of God, was at one time connected to the earth. And because of the sin of Adam, and the successive sins of 7 generations, the Shechina was pushed out to the 7th heaven. And then when Avram stood, he brought it from the 7th to the 6th, and Yitzchak brought it from the 6th to the 5th, all the way down to Moshe, who is the 7th, and all 7ths are beloved.
Right.
So the 7th returned the Shechina to the earth, and Basi Legani, I came back to my garden, I came back to my chuppah, the place where I originally was.
Whoa.
Wow. It's a powerful little opener there. Anyway, so the idea being is that the main place in which the Shechina was held in the world, we said, was the mikdash. Right? That Moshe, when he brought the Shechina down to earth, he made a home for it. And it says, "Va'asu li mikdash v'shachanti b'socha." Make me a mikdash and I'll dwell within them. It doesn't say I'll dwell within it. Which means that everybody is a mikdash. Everyone is intended to make themselves into a mikdash, which means that this notion of bringing the Shechina down to the world is really the property of every man, woman, and child. And we got through saying that, I think basically that's what we wound up saying. We said, we left off on one sort of point which I've been thinking about since then till now, which is that it says the Iker Shechina b'tachtonim haisa. The main Shechina was dafka in the tachtonim, in the lowest worlds. And we said it's not just happens to be that the main Shechina was in the lowest worlds. The main Shechina, the essence of Hashem basically, is all tied up and bound up with the lowest world. If you recall from what we said yesterday. And why is that? Because this level of divinity, which we're going to see very soon in detail, it's what we call sovev kolomi. It's a level of godliness which surrounds all the worlds equally. Sovev. Which means to say that it's not in one place more than it is in another place. Because if something's in one place more than it is in another place, then the definition of it is that it's a limited type of light, which can fit here, but it can't fit there. So you're dealing with apples and oranges. That type of light is called mamali kolomim. That's a light which fills the world, and therefore takes into consideration the limitations of the vessels that it's dealing with. But there's a light which is beyond all limitation, and this light, of course, is also in all the worlds.
What did you just say?
Memale kolomim.
Memale?
Yes, which means he fills the world.
Sorry, you just the way you guys pronounce it a little bit sometimes it's confusing.
Us guys?
Memale. I'm saying
Chabra. Memale kol
I'm not saying you guys. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just it's a little bit.
Okay, I won't take it personally then.
Don't take it personally.
So, right. So, Bekitzer, what we're saying is that when this sovev light is present, it means that it must be present everywhere equally, right? Because that's the nature of it. Is that it doesn't divide and mechalek into different areas and different divisions. So therefore, it's very much tied up with specifically the tachtonim, because the number one place, which is the hardest place for us to see godliness, is the lowest worlds. And therefore, specifically, if the light will sort of plug in to the lowest worlds, the lowest of all worlds, this world, then it's a sign that you've actually hit the jackpot and it's everywhere at once. In other words, if it's in one place, we said an analogy yesterday which is somewhat helpful. It's like a Sefer Torah that's missing one letter.
Oh,
right? The whole Kedusha of the entire Sefer Torah disappears because of one letter. If there's one pushed off little place where the Kedusha does not reach, it means the entirety is not found there. It's like a minyan. If you have 9 guys, you got 9 guys. You don't have anything. If you have 10 guys, this little guy could be a Rasha, Mamish. He could be just some Jew, walks into the place, he's the lowest guy. But all of a sudden, a Kedusha of a whole new breed comes and settles on the whole. That the greatest tzaddikim gemorim could be those 9 guys, and they're lacking the Kedusha of what this little Rasha brings to the table, because he brings a whole new level which is beyond the scope of all of them. And this is what we mean that the Iker Shechina is betachtonim dafka, that it's the tachtonim's job to finish up that one little piece which will summon this light which is equal in all the worlds to be able to be present there. And so when we sinned, when Adam sinned, he pushed it out of the tachtonim. Once he pushed it out of the tachtonim, it was really gone from all the worlds. And 6 successive generations just pushed it further away from higher worlds, but once it was already disconnected from the lowest world, it was already gone. So all the 7 were significant because they brought it closer and closer and closer. But Moshe Rabbeinu is basically the one that mattered. The seventh generation is really the one that mattered. And again, not to negate obviously the work of the predecessors, because you can't get to the seventh without sixth, fifth, and fourth. But nonetheless, the magic happened at Matan Torah, at the building of the Mishkan. That all of a sudden this new light came into the world. You can't compare the generation of Matan Torah to any generation that ever came before it, really. And so the Rebbe says in his mimer, entitled Basi Legani, which he said a year after this one was distributed, was that we are the seventh generation. And that this is the generation of Mashiach. And this is basically the Rebbe's opening line to the entire generation based on his father-in-law's words here, that all sevenths are beloved, which is the last mimer of his father-in-law, and it was the first mimer of the Rebbe. In other words, it was a preparation to make us realize exactly what's on the table here. We are, on one hand, we should be proud of ourselves, we're the lowest generation, right? On the other hand, in the lowest generation, we have this ability to make a Mishkan. And making a Mishkan means that you conform your life to the parameters which allow the shechina to dwell inside of you. And asuli mishkan v'shachanti b'sochav. You make me mishkan, I'll dwell within them. That's what we said yesterday. So now that's the whole mimer. But we'll just get at the details now. So going inside, we will take it from, the line is, I don't know, it's about 15 lines down. The very last word in the line is v'ha'inyan, and there's a period right before it. See that one? Okay. Va'inyan, who? Dehine tachlis hakavana b'brias v'yishavus ha'olamos. The ultimate intention behind the creation and bringing into existence of all the worlds. Denishava kadosh baruch hu liyos lo yisbarach dir b'tachtonim. It's a big one, big question, it's a big answer. That Hashem desired to have for himself, blessed be he, a dwelling place in the lowest worlds. This is the intention of the entire coming into existence of all reality. Bria, Atzilus, Ak, Keser, Radla, Adam Kadmon, you name it, it's all there for one reason. He only brought it into existence for one reason. He doesn't need it for itself. He needs it because he wanted to make a dwelling place in the lowest worlds. All the intention, all the kavanah in the entire existence is sitting here. She'egilu elokus lamata, that there should be a revelation of godliness below, al yidei avodas ha'adam, specifically through a man. It's crazy. Dressed up in a little meat body. This is the whole purpose of the supernal realms of Atzilus and so forth, is just because he wanted to get to a man being able to do his avoda in Olam Hazeh Agashmi. And what is our avoda? So all avoda comes down to two words. It's one form or another. Al yedei hiskafia v'hishapcha. It's either subjugation or transformation. Anything we're going to be up to, and when it comes to our divine service, is either subjugating ourselves or transforming something into divinity. Each one has their merits. One is not higher than the other per se. It's two different forms of avoda. It's crazy. The Rebbe has so many explanations on everything that's going on here. It's like I want to stop every 5 seconds and give like a whole another mimer, but we can't do that. We got to stay in Kalim over here.
What are the two things?
Iskafia,
Fine-tuning?
which means subjugating yourself. Not necessarily. It could be. They're all refining, I guess.
Refining, tuning.
Subjugating and transforming is the best definitions that I can come up with. Transforming. Subjugating means stopping yourself from doing something you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, refraining yourself.
And refraining. And transforming means taking something, either yourself or something in the world, and changing its very existence to becoming holy.
In the context of Judaism.
That's the context. Yes. You can't do it in any other context.
Taking the evil and transforming it.
Yes. Again, I'm going to say this, hopefully I'll say it every day. Please, keep in mind that you should take this sheet of paper and memorize it, word for word.
And renovating.
Starting from today, we're going to, we have many in the room real quick. Many. Let's make a Shturam Dika Mifza to memorize the Osios of Basi Legani before Yud Shvat. Can we? I'm just planting that seed in your head. You don't have to say anything. It's early in the morning. But anything they want, man. Diamond, silver, gold, Mashiach. But we'll talk about rewards, We're supposed to serve the master, Lo Almanas the Kabbalah Press, but we'll talk about that later. Anyway. Alright, so anyway, Iskafi and Ishapcha. The neshama tered lamata lislavish beguf and nefesh bahamis. The soul descends down below to invest itself into a body and an animal soul. V'hem yalimu v'yastiru al or haneshama. In other words, this is the purpose of creation. We were intended to go down into a place where we invest ourselves into some thick, coarse suit of gashmias, and they were intended to. So don't be surprised if you have one of these. They were intended to conceal and cover up the light of your soul. This is all part of the plan. Tifol neshama biru v'zichuk haguf v'nefesh bahamis. And with that, your job is to affect. The neshama will affect a refinement and a purification of the body and the nefesh bahamis. So this war that you're experiencing is not accidental. The whole of existence was created in order to set up this battle, so you would come in and be able to refine something dark. Hashem basically created an opponent in order so that the soul would be able to refine something, because that's what it means in Dira B'Tachtum. You can't make a dwelling place in the lowest world unless you first have a lowest world. And the lowest world is in stark contradiction to a dwelling place in that lowest world. So the avoda of it is to take something dark and to turn it into something light. So the whole struggle and the difficulties of life, they're not just something we have to get through, it's the purpose of being here. V'gam chelko ba'olam, not only yourself, but also your environment. And what does it mean, your chelko ba'olam? How do you know if it's your environment or not? Anything that comes into your sphere is your part of the world. It doesn't mean to the exclusion of somebody that it's also somebody else's part of the world. Don't step on people's toes. But anything that comes into contact with you is relevant for you to refine.
What's birur?
Birur, refine. Zichuch, purify. They're kind of similar, but zach means to be, I don't know, refined, purified. Same thing, kind of. V'zeu v'asu mikdash v'shechanti b'socham. And that's really what the commandment is. Make for me a mikdash. V'shechanti b'socham. Make me a mikdash v'shechanti b'socham is the order to every Jew to do this work. Build a sanctuary out of this lowly place. What do they build the sanctuary out of? Literally, the Mishkan.
Wood, everything.
They built it out of the what they took out of Mitzrayim. Right? They built it out of the materials of the lowest, grossest world. They basically borrowed the vessels of the idol worshippers and the murderers and all this. This is what they built the Mishkan with. There's a reason that we took all of our materials out of Mitzrayim. We didn't just pop into the desert and find beautiful growing there all the materials we needed, because the materials is the darkness. The materials is the tachtum, and it's that very tachtum which we're supposed to refine. You want to talk about the atzei shitim that Yaakov planted, but he planted them in Mitzrayim.
What do you plant?
Whatever. The trees.
Acacia wood.
Acacia. Anyway, what does it mean? V'shachanti b'socham. Why doesn't it say build me a mikdash, I'll dwell within it? It says I'll dwell within them. B'soch kol echad ve'echad. Because every single one of us has to do this process. It says that each person has their own mikdash to build. And we see this basically. What are the 39 malachas of Shabbos? Why are there 39 malachas of Shabbos? They're the things we're not allowed to build a Mishkan. That we're not allowed to do because they did them in the Mishkan. Sorry, that was a little clumsy statement, but you get the point. In other words, we are refraining. We can carry heavy things if we need to. It's not what it seems. It's not just stam. We're supposed to sit back and relax. It could be very intensive work. But the things that we did in the Mishkan, the building of the Tachtonim, that's what Shabbos represents, the Messianic era when the Mishkan is built. You don't have to build the Mishkan anymore. So it shows you that what are we doing the rest of the 6 days of the week? We are doing the 39 malachas of building the Mishkan. That very thing which we rest on Shabbos, that's what we're occupied with in the weekday. We're busy with the 39 malachas of building the Mishkan a whole week long. That's basically our job. We're supposed to rest from our work. What is our work? It's building the Mishkan. So the building the Mishkan, you have to look at the Mishkan literally for every single mundane activity in your life. You're lighting a fire, you're whatever you're doing, all those things. You're cutting toilet paper, you know what I'm saying? Everything that you're doing during the week is an aspect of building the Mishkan. And when it sounds strange, but what does it really mean? It means you're conforming your life to live within the exact confines of how godliness dwells in the world. L'shem Shamayim, everything is L'shem Shamayim. Anyway, this is called in every single person. And how do you build a Mishkan? It's through the avoda of what's called the avodas habirurim, separating good from bad, which is essentially making decisions based on the Shulchan Aruch. Can I do this? Wait a second, I have to separate good from bad. This is permissible activity, this is non-permissible activity, these are permissible words, these are not permissible words, these are permissible thoughts, not permissible thoughts, permissible feelings, not permissible, everything you go in life, you have to check in with your Shulchan Aruch, and that's called the refinement process, the avodas habirurim, basically separating the good from the bad. And what it all comes down to is skafiv and ishapcha. Either I can't eat this, which means I refrain, or I must eat this. It's a mitzvah to eat this. It's matzah. So it's called transformation. I'm taking an object and converting it to elokus. It's basically hiskaf and ishapcha. I wouldn't take this like all the way, quote me on this, but it's kind of like negative mitzvahs and positive mitzvahs. Refraining from something and actively transforming something. The kamaimer. This is a big mimer. States in the Zohar, Tikuni Zohar, I think, the Zohar. Kad iskafias hitra achra, Ishtalic yekare de kuchabrichu b'kulu almin. Everybody has to have that one in the moach hazikaron. This is a mimer to remember, because the whole rest of this os, at least, and pretty much the whole Basi Legani is going to be based on it. Kad is when. Iskafias hitra achra, when you subdue the other side, the dark forces. Ishtalic yekar de kuchabrichu. Ishtalic, what does Ishtalic mean?
It was relief.
Ishtalic, remove.
It's like depart.
Right, very good. All of you said depart, and it's the opposite. Because there's many words in Hebrew that have their meaning, and they have the same as the opposite of their meaning. So here Ishtalic, and it's very deep, here Ishtalic means to reveal. Not to remove, but to show up. So why are you going to use the word to remove for arriving? It was the opposite. It's not. You could use the word giloy, hisgale yikar de kuchabrichu, right? It could have said many words. We have many words for revelation in the Torah. Why does it say the word istalik? It's a unique type of revelation, and this is again very similar to what we said earlier in the class. This is like the whole kind of. Again, I'm stopping on every word because there's my Mari on this whole topic of what does the word Ishtalic mean. It also comes from the Tanya, this explanation.
There's an entire member on that word.
There's mamash an entire mimer on this concept, more than one.
Wow.
Right? And the idea is that Ishtalic means to remove, it also means to reveal. So it's because it's talking about a type of light that you're revealing, which is essentially removed. It's a light which cannot be seen. It's a light which is beyond revelation, and sometimes the way that you have to reveal it is to remove something, i.e., what happens when a tzaddik passes away? It's called a histalkus, right? Histalkus is the name that we use for the passing of a tzaddik.
Revelation.
But it's really not the passing of a tzaddik. Good news for us. It's the total revelation of the essence of the tzaddik which cannot be seen. Anything that you were seeing as the tzaddik when he was alive, his body, his smile, all these things, that was not the tzaddik. That was mere dressings of the tzaddik. That was the levushim, the garments of the tzaddik. It wasn't his essence. The essence is beyond revelation. It's beyond description. It's beyond depiction. So whatever you're seeing is by definition not his essence. If you're seeing his body. But when the tzaddik wants to go to the ultimate level of his revelation, he wants to show you the real him, unabridged version, then you have to not see all the finite details. You have to see, the essence is beyond seeing. However, it can be revealed. But when you reveal that, it's called Gimel Tammuz. It's called, now you're seeing something which is beyond vision, beyond revelation, but you're seeing it. Histalkus, right? We're going around Hasidim, we're going to go around all of a sudden talking Histalkus like they already passed away. We don't believe they already passed away. It's a little trick word. The word Histalkus means the ultimate revelation. You can see the pshat meaning of the word Ishtalic means to reveal. So we call the revelation of this level of the tzaddik or this level of Hashem in the word Ishtalic Yekara de Kuchabrichu. He reveals the essence of Hashem, which is beyond any particulars, beyond any details. It's the ultimate revelation. So what we're saying here is something very, very powerful all of a sudden. When a person has hiskafia, what does it mean to have hiskafia? A simple example of hiskafia, anybody? A hand raised. What do you do when you have hiskafia?
If you want to eat
We have a real example. What is it now, Yosef? How do you have hiskafia, Yosef?
I take like 5 seconds.
You just said 10, so you're having a scuffy now by telling the truth. Okay? Okay, 5 seconds before you eat a cheeseburger. No, chas v'shalom, chas v'shalom. 5 seconds before your burger. Okay, fine, whatever you say. That's a serious level of iskafia, man. I just go right in for the burger. But 5 seconds before the burger. In that little action, what are you exactly accomplishing? You say to yourself, okay, I'm going to wait 5 seconds because I don't know. I heard it in Hasidus class. What do you think? What's the big deal? What are you accomplishing? Listen to this. When you subjugate the sitra achra, Ishtalic, you have a state of histalkus going on. You not only reveal the glory of Hashem in all the worlds, but it's a level of histalkus, the essence of Hashem mamish, who's beyond all depiction and description of any particulars of spheros or letters or entities or angels or anything you can imagine, the shamas. That's what you are revealing, Ishtalic, when you wait 5 seconds to have your hamburger. Because we cannot underestimate the position we've been put in this world. The entire world was brought into existence for a yid to be put in an animal soul and refrain from engaging in it. It's not a small thing. You think it's 5 seconds of just whatever you're doing that day. It's the purpose of life. Knowing that it's the purpose of life, you might even make it 10 seconds. But the idea is that the significance of our most minute actions are so far beyond comprehension, it's like it's stifling to even think about it. Because you have 70, 80 years, let's say 180 years, whatever it is, a small limited time compared to eternity, that you're stuck into this world. But here's where you have a Torah and tzaddikim and avodas Hashem and what is going on in this little package of time is like you got your hands on the ultimate purpose of all reality. And how do you connect with it? So simple. Iskafia sitra achra.
You revealed that.
You just push it, hold back from the birurim. You check in with the Shulchan Aruch before you do anything. You check in with Sifrei Chasidis before you do anything. If you want to get a little deeper into the process here.
This reveals the essence of Hashem.
It becomes kind of like presence.
Yes, it's his ultimate presence, right? Yeah. And that's what we go on to say is revealed. The word Ishtalic means revealed. But I'm trying to say it means a special type of reveal. It's a special entity is revealed. And that's what he says, Yikari Ishtalic Yikari de Kuchabrichu Bekulhu Almi. Now these words, that's another mimer on these words. Right? So what does it mean Bekulhu Almi? It means all the worlds. You reveal the glory of Hashem in all the worlds. Now there's two ways, theoretically, of reading these words. And we're going to see that the Rebbe here is negating one way and championing another way. You could say the glory of Hashem is revealed in all the worlds, meaning it goes world by world by world by world. When you have iskafia, you sort of trickle down effect of first the glory of Hashem is in the higher world, then it comes down to the next lower world. You reveal it in all the worlds, it trickles down from one world to the next. That's problematic to say in accordance to what we've just discovered. Because if you're saying that there's a time when the glory of Hashem was in the higher world before it got to the lower world, you're not talking about the level called the essence of Hashem. You're not talking about the level which is relevant to reveal in a form of histalkus. Why? Because that level doesn't know from being a little bit more revealed in one world and then it'll wait a few minutes until it gets down to the lower world. That's called division. And his chalkus, put it pirud, dividing things up, that it's shaykh to say that this light can be found in one place more than another place. So we have to be very careful with these words. These words. The glory of Hashem is revealed in all the worlds. Doesn't mean it comes down world by world by world by world and the glory is found there. It means it's a type of light which is essential, which doesn't know from parts, as we said, or aspects or depictions. So when you reveal it in all the worlds equally. It suddenly enters the dimension of being there versus not being there. And again, it's always there, but it's not always revealed. Like even that essential level of the tzaddik was there in his lifetime. It's just that we couldn't get our hands on it because the limited aspect was blocking it. When you see the depiction, you cannot anymore see the essence. When you see sort of the work of the artist, you can't see the artist anymore. You only see like an expression of him. So even though the expression is intended to reveal something about the artist to you, it winds up concealing the essence of the artist to you. You get that? Because instead of seeing and being in the presence of the essence, you're in the presence of a mere revelation. So as great as a tzaddik is, and you talk about his miracles and his Torah and all these things, it's all sort of standing in the way of who he really is, which is beyond any description, beyond any depiction. Same as with Hashem. If you're going to say, "Oh, look how great he is in Atzilus and in Bria and beyond," you're seeing revelations. They're actually standing in the way of your understanding the true essence, which is that it's beyond comprehension. And where does that come out? Specifically in a place which is not all caught up in Giluyim. We don't base our experience with God, with revelation so much down here in this world, because we don't have any. So we are able to actually, this is a new kind of segment, we are able to tap into this light particularly, as we said in the beginning of the class, that this light has a special affinity towards the Tachton for one other reason. We said before, because if you have one missing piece, it doesn't show up, so the Tachton would be that missing piece, so okay, that's also true. But there's another reason, because we are a unique type of world who does not define our relationship with God by how much we see Him or not, because we don't see Him at all. There is no revelation of God in this world. That's what He did. He made a Tachton. He made a place where we don't see Him, we can't feel Him, we can't have any experience of it really. I mean, that really can't. Compared to what the real experience is available, we have zero. So why is that the pinnacle of where He wants to be found? Because this level of God cannot be experienced by anybody. It's the essence which is beyond revelation. So the unique place which can harbor such a level of God is a place which does not define their relationship with God by revelation. But what do we say? Nasa v'nishma. We'll just do it. Maybe if you want us later, we'll understand something. You'll show us a little revelation, fine. But our essential relationship with God is Kabbalah soul. Putting the yoke on, doing the mitzvah even though we don't understand it, and even though we don't see why, even though we're not feeling it. That's our unique contribution. What is Hiskafia? Waiting 5 seconds to have your hamburger? Why is that some kind of a divine experience? It's the opposite of a divine experience. It's just you're saying because God said so, I'll do it. There's no revelation in that, and that's what He's looking for. Because the thing that He's trying to show us cannot be seen anyway. So the way and the vessel to hold it is by something which is not defined by how much you're feeling great, or how much this does for you. It's how much you can do for it, how much you can take yourself away and not experience anything and still honor God in that place. He's like, oh, you're going to honor me without experiencing it? I'll give you the unexperienceable God. The essence. So again, what is this really Maimer telling us? It's bringing your most mundane, simple you to such an exalted state. There's no dull moment in your life because you're never not in a situation where you have to guard your thoughts, guard your speech, guard your actions. And those very things is the highest form of Vodas Hashem that the angels and the spheres of Atzilus cannot perform. Okay.
Does his soul get wrapped up in the essence? What is? I know we can't experience the essence.
Yes, it does.
What does that mean?
It means that the very essence of Hashem is in the place where you are when you're doing a mitzvah, right? So it's not you anymore. These are chefsei shamayim. They're the objects of Hashem. They're not their human objects. So when you're in the midst of that, you're no longer an entity separate from God. You are an aspect of the divine will. But you don't feel it. If you did feel it, you would be nullified out of existence. You wouldn't be able to do the mitzvah anymore. You would not have a sense of self, literally, to be able to pick up the tefillin and put them on. Because if even a small ray of revelation of what that divine will really is would shine, you would nullify the whole world out of existence in an instant. You can't have a finite lower place and experience even a drop of what godliness is and still maintain your existence. So the whole secret of it is that He takes away all measure of revelation so we can maintain our existence, and that's why we have our hands on the very essence. If we would feel it, if we would have revelation, we wouldn't be able to have the essence. Because we would disappear and we wouldn't be able to serve Him. We wouldn't have a sense of self. The sense of self is ostensibly a negative thing. It makes us feel separate from God. But it's that very separateness that we feel which enables us to pick up a mitzvah and have free will. So you can't have both, seemingly. Either He removes the revelation and you can access His essence, or He brings the revelation and you can no longer access His essence. You're an entity from a higher world all of a sudden, nullified out of existence. So it's specifically the Tachtonim, once again, that has the ability to hold Hashem's essence. And therefore it's up to us to save not only this world and the 5,777 years, but all of existence is depending and also scarily watching what we do down here.
I'm saying our higher neshama, affected by that because our
That's
lower
right. That's
body is
right.
not getting affected.
Your higher neshama, exactly.
It's like-
All the parts of your soul that are outside of your body are having this unbelievable,
Right.
unbridled aliyah. That's what I'm saying. They're watching.
Right.
And not only they're watching, your ancestors, why do we say Kaddish? Our ancestors from ancient days are watching. They're just waiting on you to basically fix them because they can't do it anymore.
Right.
Okay, going back inside. So, Kulu Almi. Let's read that line one more time. Kadiskaf Yisitra Achra. When you negate the dark side, Ishtalic Yikara de Kuchabrichu. You reveal the glory of Hashem Bakulu Almi in all the worlds. And hopefully we understand what that means. And now he goes to explain, just in case you didn't understand. Hini Mashakasu Bakulu Almi. What does he mean when he says all the worlds? Hakavana al madregas haor du bakulu almin b'shave. Exactly as we just said. The intention of those words is on the level of light, which is equal in all the worlds. It doesn't mean he's going to reveal Hashem in each and every world, one by one. It means you're going to reveal the glory of Hashem, which is equal in every world, which is equally underlying and pinning down the existence of all worlds. This essential light. V'hainu, and what is that called? Or hasove. That's called the light which surrounds the worlds. Sobev kol olmi. Shamer bekol ha'olamos b'shaveh. That light shines equally, or is found equally in every world. It's, in other words, every world, whether it has a lot of revelation or a little revelation or no revelation, all of it is trying to reveal this essential underpinning of its existence. So what is Atzilus? Has this infinite light, the highest world has this infinite light shining out. All that infinite light is really just attempting to reveal the underlying basis of its existence, which is the Sovev light. So as much as it's going to try to reveal, it can't ever really reveal all of it because it's infinite. So you go down a world, it has less potential to reveal, so it reveals less. But everything is trying to reveal this underlying, unseen, essential light, which is the foundation of the existence of all these worlds. So when you have Hiskafia, that light itself, not a ray of it, but the actual thing, that light which surrounds all the worlds, i.e. it's underlying all the worlds, comes to light, brought forth into revelation. Because when it comes to the regular worlds, there's different levels. You cannot compare the higher worlds to the lower worlds. And when it comes to the higher worlds, the light shines openly. When it comes to the lower worlds, the light doesn't shine openly so much. In other words, it doesn't shine in a revealed way so much. And sometimes, not only does the light not come and reveal itself so much, sometimes the light actually gets swallowed up and concealed completely, so it's hiding, like here. Right? So you have higher worlds where the light is just outright shining in a tremendous way. You have lower worlds where the light is sort of like shining through a window, where it's much less light, you don't get as much revelation. And then you have light where the light itself gets wrapped up into a dark sack, and the light is not shining at all, like here. You don't see that it's godliness. Underlying every single molecule in this place, it's just elokus. But you see molecules, you see books on the shelf, you see a room around you. It's because it's lying to you. All there is elokus, but it's wrapped up and concealed inside of a sack. And in this you have different levels. And the reason he keeps saying you have different levels is because that's the whole point. When it comes to this type of light, it's relevant that there will be different levels. Because it's already a limited light, so it has the concept of here's more or here's less. When it comes to an unlimited light, it's unlimited, so it doesn't divide. That you could say it shows up here more than it shows up here. Because it's indivisible. There's no restrictions to it whatsoever. So when it comes to the worlds, the light of the worlds, remember the word world in Hebrew is what? Olam, which is the same word as Helem, which means the concept of being in a world already means there's some type of concealment going on. The nature of worldliness, even if it's the highest world, is some type of concealment. And what is the concealment? It cannot experience the unlimited light. Even if you're a very, very high world, you have some kli. It could be a huge kli, an ocean of a kli, but it still is limited in some way. So that's because it's a world. You can't get away from it. So what's beyond the worlds is there's no limitations. So when it comes to the world, there's always some kind of a chilukim medregos, a division of parts, of levels. And where do we see this in the Pesukim? Kamoshe Kasuv, Af Yadi Yasta Eretz, V'yamini Tipcha Shamayim. Hashem says, my left hand founded the earth, and my right hand spread forth the heavens. It says equally, Isa b'midrash, not to Yamino ubara Shamayim, not to small ubara Aretz, same thing. He stretched forth his right hand and created the heavens. He stretched forth his left hand and created the earth. So what do you hear from here? The right hand is the heavens. In both of these things, the left hand is the earth. The Yadu the Yad Yamin Mora Al Ha'or V'Agilu Yoser, and it's known that the right hand, does God have a right hand? Not exactly. So why does it say Hashem stretched out his right hand to create the heavens? Because it's talking about a level of power. The right hand is the strong hand of a person. Even a person who's left-handed in this world, we say that his left hand is considered the right hand of every other person. It's considered his right hand. He's just like a backwards type of individual, but his left hand is really called his right hand in halacha. Because the right hand is the strong hand, by definition, even if it's your left. It turns into your right. So the idea is that Hashem stretched forth his right hand. That means, that represents or v'gilo yoser, more light, more strong, powerful revelation. V'zeu v'yaminu tivcha shamayim. That's what it means, his right hand spread forth the heavens. The shamayim, what does it mean, heavens? Kavana olumos elyonim. That heavens refer to the higher worlds, the more spiritual worlds, the more godly revelation in those worlds. Shamagilu b'chinas yamin. There the revelation is a state of right hand, more. But again, once you're dealing with more and less, you're bechlal in a limited domain of godliness, because the true godliness doesn't know from more and less. It's infinite. Shugiloi haor. So right hand, heaven, all means revelation of light. Va'or atzmo hu bebechinas giloi. Alright, so this is like a little interesting nuance that he says. He says that the right hand, there's more light. The heavenly worlds, there's more light. But also, the light itself is at a level, bechina, of giloi. It's revealed. So it's more light, but it's also revealed. Well, I thought if there's more light, that means there's more revelation. No, it's two things. There's more light, and it's revealed. And the idea behind it is that you can have a lot of light which doesn't come into a state of revelation. And what does that look like? That's the sovev kolomim light. That's the light of the essence that we're talking about. Light that doesn't come into revelation means it stays beyond the notion of investing itself into vessels and showing itself. You can have light that doesn't show itself. And the idea is that it doesn't show itself is because once you poke out and show yourself, you're going to have to take some form, right? Like you can tell from the light, if it's light from electricity, or if it's light from the sun, or if it's light from a fire. From the light itself, once it shines from its source, it already takes on a certain form, a limited form. And so that's what it means. There's a lot of light in the higher worlds, but it's also a light which is in a state of gilu. It comes out and shines. Because you can have the source of light which does not yet shine. The source of light, which is pre-shining light, is a light which does not yet have to take a form. So it could theoretically still be infinite and not locked into a certain description or a certain attribute. So that's what he's saying. The light in the higher worlds is not only in a state where there's more revelation, but there's also a state where it's in a state of Giloy. It's shining. You have a question?
Yeah, I'm saying light and that kind of light doesn't have, you don't have a vessel to. So when you say vessel, is that like my comprehensive scope? If I was aware of that light, then that's a vessel?
Great. So you asked a really good question. So I'll say it again so everyone hears. You're saying that light, it can't shine because there's no vessel that can hold it, right? And theoretically, if you had a vessel that could hold it, it could shine. Yeah? So those are a little bit contradictory statements. The first one is true. In other words, there's no vessel that can hold it. But we're not saying, that the problem is with the vessels, right? The concept of vessel, you understand, is that it has limitations. You'll say that it's as big as the ocean. You'll say it's as big as the earth. You'll say it's as big as the universe. It doesn't matter how big you go. The definition of a vessel is that it has some kind of a size or some kind of a depiction. But what we're talking about is a light which is beyond all shape, size, and depiction. So no, you can't make a big enough vessel for this light. It's beyond expression altogether. And that's what we're saying, is that the worlds go on literally forever. There's no end of the level of bigger vessels. You know, we call it, there's the Olamos Ad Ein Sof. There's worlds that go on forever. We don't stop it at Silus. That's just like where we stop when we don't want to freak ourselves out too much. But it goes on forever. And this light, nonetheless, is beyond all of those worlds for this very reason. No thought can grasp him at all. So what is it, right? It's a light which is beyond any semblance of expression. And so that's what we're saying, that even in the higher worlds, which are called the heavens, not only is there a lot of light, because they have huge vessels, but the light is also revealed, which means it comes out of its state of sort of this infinity, and it shows itself in some vessel or form or another, which could be the highest vessel, the biggest of the universe. But it's already, the fact that it's come to a state of revelation is actually its chesarur, its limitation. Coming to a state of revelation itself is a limitation, because the true essence of the light cannot be limited by any vessel.
Well,
You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Okay.
why couldn't light just be a vessel itself? Be like a light vessel, and therefore it's not limited. Just like Hashem's like, I'm going to create a light and then make that light also a vessel. Like, you can do anything. Why can not do that?
Once you're making the light into a vessel, you're creating boundaries around it. You're making it a bounded thing.
Okay.
Bound and unbound are in this capacity contradictory to each other, right?
Yeah.
Imagine like the sun, like the sun beams, I mean, imagine if it wasn't, like clouds and stuff that kind of like burn you,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You're limiting it with your own mind.
Okay, so this is the right hand, which we're saying the right hand has a tremendous amount of light, but it's also light which is brought to revelation, which is a kind of like a negative connotation in a sense. And going on, Eretz, that's the heavens. Hakavana olamos hatachtonim. What does the left hand mean, or the earth? It means the lower worlds. Hashem stretched out his left hand, he created the lower worlds. Hem bechinas small, that's the left hand. She'ena or begila kokach. Here you have the thing where the left hand means it's a weak hand, which means he's not bringing too much light. Right? The light is not so much in revelation. In other words, instead of coming from a sun, the powerful sunlight, you're outside under the canopy of the heavens. No, you're in a room and there's a little hole in the wall. Right? So you're getting only a small amount of revelation of that light. But in addition, there's a further descent. Gama or atzmo ba bechinas helam vehester. This is now that we said this before. The light itself goes to a further extent that the light is not even begiloi. Right? So this is just like we said before, that there was a lot of light and it was begiloi. The giloi means revealed. There, the connotation of giloi meant something of like a little bit of a disadvantage, because it comes to revelation as opposed to being in a state of ultimately beyond revelation. Here we're saying the light is minimized, and the light also goes into a state of concealment. So that not only is it a small amount of light, but the light is also not revealed. So that's why I said before, go up one world from here. Everyone just take your elevator real quick. And the idea is that you're going to realize that everything is shrouded in light. I didn't mean that literally, but everything is shrouded in light, right? But if you would only compare yourself shrouded in light up there to a world four stops up from you from the elevator, you realize you have a drop of light in your world. But at least the light is revealed. Here we have a drop of light, but it's also, we don't see any light. They took the light and he wrapped it in a sack, as we said before. We missed you already. Hang out with us. We're almost done.
We missed you already.
The light is wrapped up in a sack. So the light, not only is there a small amount of light, but it's not revealed. So up there we were saying there's a large amount of light and it is revealed, which is a downside, because that it's revealed.
Right.
Here we're saying it's a small amount of light and it's not even revealed, which is even a lower level. In other words, it becomes to a state that you see zero light.
Right.
Ultimately, if you recall what I said a few minutes ago, the fact that it's not revealed is going to have a very distinct advantage to it.
Right.
Because the only place in the entire existence of all things that there's zero revelation. And that comes in handy when you're trying to reveal something which cannot be revealed. But we said that before.
What are we seeing then?
Not seeing anything.
We're seeing the absence of something. if you could say.
It's not really the absence, but it has to be like you said, a little bit.
No, but the little bit that you're seeing, you see light. What you see is physical light. I don't want to get into your supernatural powers, Itai, at this particular moment. I'm saying, if let's just say you're a normal guy, you're seeing physical light, right? So the idea being is that when you're seeing physical light, you're not seeing godly. You're seeing an absence of something. The physical light is not reality. You're seeing a sort of a sheker before your eyes. It's not true that it's physical light. There's no such thing as physical light. There's no such thing as a physical book. There's no such thing as anything but God. And here we're walking around thinking that that's like you have to believe in that. Or you have to come and meditate in yeshiva for a year to understand that. Because that's not what is all present to our senses. So we're actually not seeing any light. We're seeing sort of the concealment of light.
I get it.
When God's using his right hand outstretched.
Yeah, that's the heavenly worlds.
So does that mean that he's working outside the parameters of our world?
Our particular world, but he's still within the parameters of the higher worlds.
Right, but he's bringing that into this world.
No, in order to get to this world, he makes his left hand. Right? One more line here. Okay. Kiyadua. No, we're going to stop here. This is a good stopping point. Okay, Chevra. Great attendance today. Let's do it again tomorrow.
Could you maybe just give us a sum up,
God is one. That's pretty much sums it up.
That's it? Good?
I mean, a sum up of what we learned today.
Yeah, like the main points.
You keep that. Yeah, come back. Nice to have you, Corey.
I have a copy.
Yeah.
You have a copy. Great. Memorize this. Just because you're not going to be here, you're still going to be in the Olam Hazeh on Yud Shvat, and you should come in handy. I'm telling you, they're going to for sure ask who is the Maimon memorized, and you can step right in.
All 20 oaths?
No, just the first oath.
Because this is the first year?
No, because when it comes to memorizing, whatever, you can memorize one out of any of the first 5 osios, and you'll be called upon to say it. But if you're not called upon, it's one of the first 5 osios, or all of the first 5 osios is like what we're... Do I have it memorized? I'm pretty good. It's in there. But it's a great preparation for Yud Shvat. It's the way to go. So hold on to that copy.
I'll hold on to it.
Olam Hayes?
So when he's using his right hand, is he creating worlds?
Yeah, higher worlds. Filled with light.
Creating worlds.
What?
He's like doing what we would say is
Alihjt?
everything, I guess, outside the context of this world.
Everything outside the what?
Everything outside the context of this world.